Alrighty guys, welcome back to the channel and in today's episode. Today's episode is going to be another tackle review, time of the year type of baits and soft plastics I like to use. We're going to go over colors, weights, different styles, different techniques, all sorts of stuff. We're even going over some terminal tackle today. So let's jump right into today's video. We're talking now late spring, after post spawn. You know, we're post spawn now, and moving into summer, and where these fish are going to transition and how to transition what you're throwing during that time of the year, or at least what I like to throw and into summer time frame. So for me, number one, what I still like to throw is some type of a swim jig. Again, you know, these fish after post spawn, they are going to be trying to fatten up again, right? It was a stressful time. Those females, they come in, they lay their eggs, they dump their eggs, and they take off. And pretty much soon after that, they're trying to feed up again. So some type of a swim jig during this time, whatever it is, as far as forage in your I would try and match that to. Specific to me in my bodies of water, most of the time it's some type of panfish or bluegill, primarily bluegill, crappie, something along those lines. So a lot of my swim jigs and even some of my jigs are going to be trying to match that type of bait fish. That's what I'm trying to imitate, and that's what I have. So a swim jig, again guys, is a great search bait, a great tool to, you know, bring through that grass. This time of the year, right, especially now we're talking about already post spawn, moving into summer, that grass is going to start getting thicker. It's starting to grow in, everything's coming together, right? It's warm, everything's growing. So a swim jig through that grass is another great tool for you guys as a search bait to find those fish. It's a little bit more subtle presentation, a little bit more natural than, let's say, an underspan or something along those lines, right? So a swim jig, definitely a great option. Sticking on that same topic, guys, I don't have any here handy with me, but a paddle tail swim bait. Just a normal soft plastic paddle tail swim bait is a great option this time of the year, and I normally go ahead and rig it on some type of swivel lock hook. I like to put that paddle tail on here. I think this is either a 3 or a 4/0 hook. I got them smaller because I do have the smaller swim baits here right now. As we move forward in the season, you can upsize your swim baits too. So don't shy away from like a 5/0 or even a 6/0 hook if you're throwing a pretty good swim bait. This is a 3.8 Saucy Swimmer by Guggen Bait, so a 3/0 or a 4/0 hook suits me just fine. Along the same token, guys, a jig. One of my favorite ways to catch a fish is on a jig. If I only had to pick two ways that I absolutely love catching fish, it would be on a jig and on some form of topwater. Whether it's, I would lean towards a frog. I absolutely love frog fishing, but some type of topwater. I love those topwater blow-ups. So a jig and a topwater for me, top two favorite ways of catching fish. But again, your jigs, guys, this happens to be a flipping style jig where, you know, it can stand up more along the lines of flipping to cover or in thick cover. So again, real natural looking presentation here, and I'm going to match that with a natural plastic as well, which we'll get into here in a little bit as far as what types of plastics and colors and whatnot. But again, get yourself a good jig, as you guys have seen in previous videos. Good jig, guys, one with a good weed guard, with a good hook, a good barb, you know, to keep those fish pinned. Another good thing to look for in your jigs, guys, bait keeper. That's another good thing. This particular jig, again, this is a Guggen Squad jig. I think it's their thick jig. Has two bait keepers, one on the shank of the hook and then one coming off of it. So really, once you put your plastic on, that is not going anywhere, and that's something you want to look for. If you can get them in tungsten, I would go tungsten. You know, they might be a little bit more expensive or a little bit harder to find. as far as what you like. I don't believe the Guggen Squad ones are tungsten. Staying on that same type of topic, guys, obviously a Texas rig is going to be magic this time of the year as well. Any type of your favorite soft plastic that you like throwing, guys, a Texas rig definitely is the way to go. Again, if you can and your budget allows it, as far as your flipping weights, or when it comes to what we're going to talk about here in a little bit is a drop shot, try and go with some type of tungsten, guys. It gives you a great advantage. I definitely noticed the difference. Another way that I like to rig is wacky rig. So there, you can either fish wacky weightless or some type of weightless wacky and drop shot hook is that Gamakatsu hook. Another great tool to add to your arsenal here, guys, is just a wacky tool. This is that tool you see everybody kind of using with the little O-rings. You put it in here and then you just thread over one of these O-rings, and what you do is then you just slip your wacky hook right underneath that O-ring. You just barely skin hook your bait underneath this O-ring, and then that way you're not blowing through too many baits. Spinnerbait this time of the year, really a spinnerbait is all season kind of lure, especially for me, and it's a great search bait, but it's also just a great bait in general to throw. I absolutely love throwing spinnerbaits. A lot of different options as far as blades go, colors, weights, with a trailer hook, without a trailer hook, with a plastic trailer, without, just running it a straight spinnerbait like this. Sticking with the bait fish presentations here, guys, our soft body, more of a boot tail or a paddle tail swim bait, and then we have our jointed ones. This happens to be this is a Mike Buka baby bull shad. This is a live target sunfish bluegill. As you guys can see, I still need to cut off my line from the other day. Anything like that this time of the year is also great. And again, you would match the hatch to your fish. Sticking on that same topic, guys, a square bill. Obviously, I would not recommend maybe throwing this color this time of the year that we're talking about, right? I would go with a more natural color. This was just the one that I had in my box here. Any type of crank, whether it's a deep diving crank or a shallow diving crank, if you're working riprap or anything along those lines, whatever your depth is, that's what you want to throw, and you want to throw in your color that you have the most confidence in, but also in the color that makes the most sense for your body of water. Don't overlook a shallow, medium, or deep diving crank if you are able to. Now, top water, I tend to throw when I know that water, I'll throw it, starting as low as 50s, 55 to 60 degree water temp. It's probably right where I'm going to start tying on or thinking about throwing top water. Poppers are great tools. Again, great top water bait, great color variety. A popper is great for that shallow pitching and flipping it into specific pieces of cover. Tight to the bank, medium to even sometimes thick cover where you can get a nice little lane for this popper to come out through. I do like the ones that have the feathered treble on the back. A dark color, a light color, and then some type of ghost color, some type of natural color will get you guys through. You don't need to, you have your own designated popper box. Another good option is some type of walking bait. They might be keyed in on something larger, or this might be too large and they want something smaller. As colors go, I would go with something light, dark, and natural. Good for open water as well. Whereas we're casting with a popper to specific cover tight to the bank, this I would maybe use in parallel to the bank when you're coming down parallel to the bank and cover more water that way. Another great top water bait, guys, is one of my favorites to throw is a whopper plopper. This is a river to sea whopper plopper, and I don't know if you guys, if the camera's doing it justice there, that's pretty good. This whopper plopper has seen its fair share of battle scars. I will tell you what, the one advantage to this is you don't just have to straight retrieve it. You can actually kill this bait and pop it along. All right, guys, so we've arrived at my favorite top water bait, and that is some type of frog. I absolutely love frog fishing. I love getting into that thick, heavy matted vegetation, or those pads, or whatever, cattails, whatever kind of vegetation where those fish like to hang out, stay out of the sun, ambush prey as it's coming by, swimming by, whatever. My number one go-to frog is right here, guys. It's a river to sea Bullywah 2 frog. It's in the 65 size, which is the bigger size. I prefer the bigger size. They walk a lot better than the smaller sizes. Great hooks on these guys. Great, nice, soft, pliable body. You don't have to do anything with it. They come great out of the packaging. You don't have to bend the hooks up or out or anything like that. Really, I don't trim the legs or anything. As you can see, for some people, these legs are way too long. Normally, some folks like to go right to the eyes and then cut them. I have not done any type of modification on this frog, and I can absolutely slay on this frog. Got that real nice keeled belly, which I like in a frog. It's almost like a boat, if you would think of it that way, where it allows it to move better on the surface of the water. Guggen Squad frogs, giving them a try. As far as frog colors, guys, you want, again, dark, light, and some type of ghost or natural color. This is their bluegill pattern. I have not used them yet. This is a different style than the river to sea frog. So and what makes me say that, and hopefully the camera's picking this up, guys, is the line ties. As you can see, the Guggen Squad frog kind of dips down. You tie down and it's kind of down. So that, to me, and I said I haven't used any of these guys yet, but to me that would be more of a straight retrieve, like almost, as similar to a popper or a popping frog. You just want to cup it, and it might make it harder to walk. I don't know. It seems to have a little bit of that keel on there on the belly. That's one thing that is concerning, or that I'm not too sure of, is how that line tie is and that angle. And then again, one thing, and it might just be a weird thing, but they're plastic on their frogs, specifically this one. I don't know about the other ones, but this one, there's a certain smell to it. I don't know if it's the plastic that they use, or the body of the frog, or the coloring, the paint, but there is a hint of a smell to it, and I don't know if that's on purpose or not. I know you want your soft plastics to have a certain scent to them. I don't necessarily know if I want my frog to have a certain scent to it. The hooks tend to really, these are really weedless hooks. Real weedless. They are really tucked into this body of the frog. And my concern is with other frogs that are similar to this, that have them really tucked into the body of the frog, is those hooks go into the body and poke holes, and then your frog takes on water, and it defeats the purpose, and really defeats the purpose of a good buoyancy for your frog. So we're going to test them out. I'm not going to do any modifications, because I want to hold them to the same standard that I hold my favorite frog to. It is straight out of the package, tie on and toss out there. I do no modifications here, and I have absolute success here. You're paying a little bit more here compared to a Guggen frog, but what I want to see is if paying less pays off. As far as plastics, really, you can throw all your favorite plastics, whatever they are, but you want to keep them as natural as possible, or match them to your lake and your conditions out on the water for that day. A weightless or a weighted Texas rig stick bait is a great option. Like I said, wacky rig this time of the year, I tend to always have some type of wacky rig hooked up normally during this time of the year. So again, my favorite colors are some type of natural green pumpkin. This is a green pumpkin with like a blue flake. Crawls, again, keeping it simple, guys. These are natural crawls by Guggen Baits. They got that green pumpkin, blue flake on top with that pearl belly. I do also have some blue babies, which are essentially the same but have a blue tint to them to imitate bluegill. Drop shots, you can get a little bit more creative on drop shots depending on what you're fishing for. So smallies on beds or smallies, I do have like a bubblegum type color and a blue and brown type color, but again, natural type colors. This is green pumpkin pearl. So again, it's got that green pumpkin on top and a pearl belly. I've had a lot of success with this green pumpkin red flake, green pumpkin obviously. I do have a black and blue flake one if the water is a little bit dirtier and color doesn't really matter. The one bait that I don't have in front of me is a mondo worm, not ribbon tail worm, but some type of big worm. It's a 10-inch worm. So I like to have a big worm with me also during this time, right? The fish are looking for those big meals, those easy meals. Local colors that I have for that are some type of June bug or some type of natural color. And that's really it, guys, for me as far as, types of baits that I'm throwing during this transitional period. And even into the summer, a lot of this does apply still. So I hope you guys found some value in today's video as far as types of baits that you can use during the transition from the spawn. We're talking post spawn into summer, early summer, and moving into those patterns, guys. What I have had success with, what might work for you, what doesn't work for you. Alrighty, guys, that's gonna wrap today's video. Again, I really hope you guys pick some new tips, tricks, learned something from today's video. Maybe it was something that I've been trying that you haven't tried, or something that you've been thinking about trying and you don't know if there's success in. Again, I kind of keep it real simple as far as colors, as far as how many of each type of bait I have, or what application I'm doing. Matching the hatch, whether it be the body of water, the conditions on the water, what fish are there, and what conditions are going on in your area or on the specific day that you go out. Translate all of this information to your favorite brands. It doesn't need to be Live Target, it doesn't need to be Mike Buka, it doesn't need to be River to Sea, it doesn't need to be Guggen Squad or Strike King or whatever else I've showcased here today, guys. Definitely use this information and translate it to your favorite baits. I will go ahead and link the tungsten that I use in the video description. That's Woo Tungsten. I will go ahead and leave a link there and a code for you guys to use if you want to pick up some tungsten and you want some a bit of a discount. It is not an affiliate link at all, so the channel does not make any money off of that, guys. It's just a promo code that I have for you guys, for my viewers, for you guys to be able, if you're interested and you want to get in the market and you want to save some money on some tungsten, go right ahead, use that code. It'll help you guys out. Like I said, the channel does not benefit in it from any way at all. It's just something that I have for you guys that I can provide to you guys from them for just being a supporter of the channel, watching the channel. So guys, as always, if you like today's video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, and don't forget to hit that bell to get your notifications so you know when all the next updates are coming and the next uploads are coming. There's a lot of fishing that is to be had still, a lot of bed fishing I think still that we will run into, and like I said, we're going out later today to go and fish, so be on the lookout for those next videos coming soon. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe as well. That way you guys can get all this awesome content and you don't have to check in every day. As always, the Instagram is down in the video description as well, so if you're down there getting your Woo Tungsten discount code, go ahead and click on the Instagram link, go give me a follow on Instagram and follow me there. We just passed the 500 mark there on Instagram, so we're growing there as well, and we're trying to grow both channels here to provide some awesome content for you guys. I appreciate you guys for watching, for spending some time here on the channel with me, and we will see you on the next one.